You need to know that there are differences, specifically in evolutionary terms. These differences will help you understand some of the rules later on, so I'm going to get them out of the way now. In long-term dating, girls look for guys who show they have access to resources. Guys look for beautiful girls with wide hips, a gorgeous smile, and usually low body fat. Now this kind of makes sense because girls could get pregnant for 9 months and they want a guy who can provide them with food and shelter. Also, guys, in evolutionary terms, want a girl who can bring forth many children, and usually beauty, wide hips, a great smile, and lower body fat percentages are signals of health, that she actually can bring forth many children. Now, let's go to short-term dating. In short-term dating, girls look for guys with wider jaws and guys with higher testosterone levels, and usually a decent status and access to resources. Also in short-term dating, guys look for somewhat beautiful girls, an okay smile, and a body fat percentage that isn't outrageous. And this makes sense because in a fling, a woman wants a man whose children will be tough and strong, just like the dad, right? And then later she can find a quote nice guy to help take care of her and her children if she does become pregnant. Now, men still seek out evolutionary health signals in short-term mating, but are willing to give up some of it for a chance to Netflix and chill. In other words, pass on their genes. Now remember, all of this is from an evolutionary psychology perspective of long-term and short-term mating. It could be babkas. Let's continue. Rule number 1, stand up straight with your shoulders back. A lot of what we call luck in dating is actually just confidence. Standing up straight with your shoulders back is a pure sign of confidence. If you can't stand up properly with a decent posture, how do you think you're going to attract someone that you actually want? Rule number 2, treat yourself like someone who deserves the woman that you want. My goodness, if I could have this embroidered on a pillow, I'd send it to every student of my dating course. Guys talk down on themselves all the time. They don't go to the gym. They don't read and inform themselves. They spend nights drunk and complaining about how they don't have what they want. If you want a beautiful woman, you have to be deserving of a beautiful woman. And by beautiful, I'm referring to physical attractiveness and also a magnetic, charming, and a personality that meshes with yours. See, people who win the lottery usually lose it all within 2 years because they don't have the skills to keep it. If you don't have the skills to attract a beautiful woman, you will not have the skills to keep a beautiful woman. So, treat yourself like someone who is deserving of that beautiful woman that you want. Go to the gym, change your diet, learn more, start that business you've always wanted, do your laundry, and for God's sake,
clean up your room.
Number 3, only date girls who want the best for you. The original rule is just to make friends who want the best for you, but I've altered it to date girls that want the best for you. In this day and age, it is hard to find a down-to-earth chick that actually wants to develop a meaningful relationship and truly grow with you. Make that your standard. If she doesn't really want the best for you, it's not a relationship, it's a transaction. You're giving her love and maybe even money, and she's giving you love and who knows what else. A relationship is about what you can give, not what you can take. So please, enter a relationship wanting to take care, love, and cherish a woman, and only continue to date a woman who wants to do the same for you. Number 4, compare your relationship with who you were yesterday, not to other relationships, and definitely not your exes. I have a lot of trouble with this one because I've been dating my current girlfriend for 4 years, so it's really easy to look at new couples and think, wow, they really don't have a chance. And to look at the picturesque couple with a dog and a house and they just got married and they're expecting and their life seems absolutely great, right? Well, it's toxic to compare yourself. You don't know how much debt they have. Maybe he might be an alcoholic or maybe she likes to cheat. You literally have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. So, don't compare your relationship to anyone else's relationship. And please, please, please never compare your relationship with that of one of your exes. Only compare your relationship with who you were yesterday. My girlfriend and I have grown so much in the past year, let alone the past 4 years, and that's what I should be looking at. Number 5, do not let your girlfriend do anything that you disapprove of. If you go on a first date with a chick that you're super excited about, but you head out to this Chinese place, and the entire date she's slurping some noodle soup. It's really annoying you, but you don't say anything about it. Some time passes, a couple months go by, and you're starting to think a little bit about being serious with her, but she's still slurping her soup. To her, she's just being who she's always been. But to you, it's so annoying. So tell her. There are so many guys out there who are afraid of telling a girl that they like that there's something they're doing that might be annoying to them or irritating. Well, what are you going to do? Sweep it under the rug and let it grow until you're both 50 years old and then become a homicide statistic? No. Communicate how it makes you feel, and if she's not willing to compromise by either slurping her soup in another room or maybe not eating soup around you at all, or whatever the compromise is, then you might need to move on. This goes for all things too, not just slurping soup. It's an example. If she's too clingy or if she starts to act really weird around other guys, whatever it is, do not let your girlfriend do anything that you disapprove of. Number 6. Set your finances, your career, and your mental health in order before you start dating. The original rule meant to set yourself in order before you start to nag someone else to do something, but it's super applicable to relationships too. Personally, I would not recommend dating until you have your finances under control, you have a good idea as to what you want to do with your career, and your mental health is at least average. Now, you can date someone who's $15,000 in credit card debt, you can date someone who has no idea what they want to do in life, and you can also date someone who's super depressed and doesn't even want to get help. But honestly, you're not going to grow much, they probably aren't going to grow much, and the opportunity cost of dating someone else who might be in a better situation is outrageous. But then again, a lot of people argue you can't choose who you love, which is a topic for a whole different video. Number 7. Pursue what is wifeable, not what is easy. Okay, if you want a long-term stable relationship with a girl who will be honest, reliable, and can grow with you, do not look for girls that are, quote, easy. Oh, and if you also start your relationship with a girl while she's with another man, it just means 6 months down the road, you might be that other man, and that she'll probably cheat on you too. So, my advice is to pursue what is wifeable, not what is easy, even if you never intend on getting married. Choose someone you can spend a whole week with and not get bored, and someone you can still laugh with after dating for a year. Now, it might take work, but it's possible. Choose someone with a similar style of humor, and around the same IQ as you, simply because your relationship won't stand the test of time if you don't. My girlfriend can still make me laugh hysterically with her dry, dark humor. Number 8. Tell the truth and tell it often. Oh, speaking of cheating, if you're having feelings for someone else, you probably need to tell them. Your significant other, that is. Tell the truth and tell it often. Maybe you're having feelings because she's not showing you love, and that could start a whole conversation about differing love languages. Maybe you're having feelings because you're spending too much time around another girl, and that actually happens. It's called the mere exposure effect. If you start to spend more time around another girl that you find attractive, and you spend more time with her than your girlfriend, you will start to have feelings. Either way, plan to tell the truth, the full truth, and to tell it often. Even if it's difficult or causes some strife short term, it will be better for you long term. Number 9. Assume that what she is saying is worth listening to. I know so many relationships that have gone completely sour simply because one person literally stopped listening to the other person. Yeah, there's the old adage, communication is key, and if you just listen more than you talk in a relationship, especially as a man, oh my goodness, your relationship will start to get better, and probably way better. Just listen. Show body language that you're listening, and then actually think about what she is saying. The difficult part about this is not doing it a week after you've started dating, but after 3 years of dating. And if you can master this skill, you're in the top 1% of men, and your girlfriend probably knows it. Number 10 is to be clear in how you feel. Hand in hand with telling the truth, you should also be very clear with how you feel. If you feel embarrassed because of something your girlfriend did in public, tell her so that it might not happen again. If you feel emasculated for whatever reason, you also need to tell her, because if you don't, it'll cause deeper psychological problems, not just for your relationship, but for you as a person. If you feel like your love is starting to fade, you need to be clear about that too. Maybe your feeling isn't justified and it's just because you haven't been on a date in 3 months. Or maybe it's because you both have been super busy and you haven't really talked that much. Whatever it is, be clear in how you feel and communicate it to your significant other. Number 11 is to make sure that you discuss having children between the 3 to 6 months mark. So this tip strays a little bit from the original tip, but honestly, the kids talk is really important. Not only to ensure you both have a clear vision and similar goals, but also because it could really change your view of the other person. I recommend having this talk around month 3 to 6, but it could really be a longer time frame if you're under 21 years old, simply because of the culture we're in. Anyways, mostly talk about how many kids you want and how you want to raise them. What if you have a child with a disability that requires intensive care? Or what if one of you can't have children? Some people say that the feeling of wanting kids but not being able to have them is one of the worst emotional pains a person can feel. I actually know a few people who lived their lives until they're around 45-ish, and then they wanted kids, but they couldn't, so they have to adopt, which is actually a great alternative. So talk about that too. 2 different parenting styles can cause a lot of problems, so try to get it out of the way earlier. And lastly, number 12 is pet a cat. Treat her like she just said yes to a date. Every day. Yeah, so the original rule was to pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. And it was a metaphor to be grateful for little things in life, otherwise you'll be sucked down by the pessimism and busyness of today's world. The same ideology applies to dating and being with a girl that you're with. You should strive to tell her often how much she means to you. Do little things that show love. Better yet, find out her love language and shower her in appreciation. Not only will it make her feel loved, cherished, and appreciated, but it'll actually make you love her more. The act of loving someone increases the feeling of loving someone. So, by doing something for her, you will actually start to feel better. This is why most people who have depression actually start to feel their depression lifting whenever they can care for someone else. And there are tons of studies that back this up. There's even one that says if you care for a flower or just a little plant in your room, it can have an effect on lifting your depression.